Here we go.
Do it. Mhm.
Okay, cool.
Here we go.
Hello again. Welcome back to another episode of Coffin Talkin', where we unravel the mysteries, embrace the peculiar, and find humor in the unconventional world of funerals and death. Oh, there we go. We're going to change the intro from us laughing to being Coffin Talkin'.
That's fantastic, Holly. Thanks for the intro. That is fantastic. Well, so let's jump right in. How was your week, Holly? I haven't heard from you much about this week.
It's been weird, honestly. I've been kind of trying to figure out what to do with time.
Oh, have you found anything to occupy and fill your time?
I've been reading a lot, which has been nice.
Uh-huh.
And every day when my husband comes home from work, we just head out to the garden and just weed a little bit.
Good.
And we've planted some more tomatoes because some of our tomatoes got a little bit frostbitten.
Are they covered now?
They are covered.
Good.
We went to DI today, got a top sheet, and have one stake in the ground. So we just covered them, and it looks like a ghost garden.
Oh my gosh! Right up my
Is that a cemetery? A ghost garden?
Oh my gosh, Holly! It probably is.
It probably is.
How long some of those gardens have some of those ghosts have matured. Wow.
I know. What are they growing?
Some years ago. Wow. So you're garden working, and that's great.
Yeah, it's been really fun, actually.
Anything else?
Not much. I've been able to catch up with a couple more people that I haven't talked to in a while.
Yeah.
And so that's been really nice. And I don't know, I guess just figuring out what I want to do. I want to get back into embroidering.
Good.
So I took a hiatus from that after I made those ornaments for everyone for Christmas.
Yes.
Oh, it took it out of me because I had to make them fast.
Were you procrastinating? Is that why you had to make them fast?
Yes, I did.
At the last minute to make them.
You do realize who you're talking to, right?
In fact, I do.
You know what? I do.
Now I
remember.
I'm not sure. Oh my gosh, that's funny.
So that's been fun, just hanging out over here, I guess. What's your week been like?
It's been busy. I had another full week. I don't like them like that because I don't have any time off, and it feels like just every single day go to work, and I can't. It's not good to function like that.
No, it's not.
It just today I got a little irritated because I thought I'd be done at 2:30, and here it is, 6 o'clock, 6:30, and just barely got home, and just things you don't plan on that happen. And
is that just families prolonging staying in the mortuary, or what keeps you?
Well, they keep calling and they ask, well, we were expecting this and this. I'm sorry I was on services today, so let me get it done for you. Go ahead and put it down. And the next thing I know, another hour has transpired. Call on your way out, get another call. Hey, Frank, we got a misspelling on the medical examiner. We got a misspelling on the application you sent to us. Could you make that change and then send it back to us? And we'll go ahead and release the individual. And
oh my gosh.
It's that nitpicky. And
Did you just spell something wrong?
Yeah.
Make you redo the whole thing?
And it was because the family spelled the middle name wrong. And so I sent it in as the family spelled it. Well, that's not the way we have it here. This is the way it should be spelled. Could you make the correction and send it correctly? Okay. So anyway, it's just those little nitpick things, but it's been busy, which is good. I'm kind of waiting for a little bit of a slowdown. I hate to say that, knock on wood, because as soon as you do say it, then you're dead silent, and you don't want that.
Enjoy it.
Yeah. Catch up on the paperwork that you haven't been able to do. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I know that that's what this whole podcast is about, but it's a little concerning that your mortuary is anything other than dead silent at times.
Yeah, well.
Was that too much of a stretch?
No. It was a good stretch. Oh man, that feels good. That was
Oh, nice.
that was really nice. Oh, it's good. So anyway,
I
yeah,
hope that you get a little reprieve the next couple days at least.
yeah,
You
we'll
can
see.
catch up.
We'll see. And it's funny because you can go I don't know 4 hours without the phone ringing on the weekends, and then you wonder, oh my gosh, do I have the phones? You see what I'm? It's
Yeah.
this mental game that you play. You don't want to be busy, but why isn't my phone ringing?
Right. Did I forward the phones? Do I have to go back to forward the phones? Yeah. Oh
Yeah,
man, that's
exactly right.
frustrating.
Oh, but I've decided. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, so even when you have a break, there's no mental break.
That's correct.
Because you're constantly thinking about it.
Yeah. Well, you see that on family reunions and family trips.
Yes.
Yeah. See it in my face. Wonder how things are going at work. Yes.
Yep. You can always tell when we're all talking together. I'm like, oh, Dad's back at work.
That's fading off.
Yeah.
Which is okay. That's all right.
Oh, well, anything else?
No.
Nothing else to report?
No.
Well, let's try on your shoes and let's be frank.
Wow, Holly. I wear a size 13, by the way. Anyone wants to know.
Wow.
So today's experience goes back about 25, maybe 30 years ago. And I don't know. Do you remember, Holly? Have you had anyone that has ever talked to you about the Great Depression?
My school teachers.
What? Okay, history then.
I've learned about it.
Okay.
I think maybe grandparents. Grandpa. Okay. I've talked to him just briefly about it.
Okay. So that's about the time. See, my mom was a child of a parent that passed through the Depression. So it's been a while. It's been, I don't remember exactly the years that the Great Depression occurred, but you can still see a ripple effect of it from some of the families that you deal with, some of the people you associate with. And so this story is going to relate around that for just a little bit. And hopefully you'll find it humorous and maybe even thought-provoking. So let me go back to my own family. When I met my grandmother in Tennessee, I just remembered things being like not everywhere, but accumulated in different spots of the house. It's not like she wasn't a, what do they call these people that
a hoarder?
Yeah, she wasn't a hoarder, but yet she had stacks of papers everywhere, and she knew exactly where everything was. And if you needed some dollar or something for an ice cream cone, she'd know exactly where to go to get it. You had opening, closing of a drawer. And it's just little things like that. My mother used to tuck money in a mattress on the inside, pay all of her bills with cash, because that for her, that was the safest way of paying bills.
That was the ripple effect of not trusting banks.
That's correct. And she would probably roll over in her grave if she knew that things were done electronically now.
I'm sure. Yeah.
People are going to take your ID. They're going to take your money. Yeah.
So, she's going, you have at least 4 mattresses in your house. Why are you not using them?
Well, I am going to see if you turn around and said that to my mom. I know I have 4 mattresses. They have their purpose.
Uh-huh.
Wink.
Oh, wink, wink.
Yeah. So there's... Just take something and you open the side of the mattress and, well, look what mom had.
Wow.
Oh, wow. But that all ended when she bought a waterbed. So there's no working with that one. I hopefully talk.
Oh my gosh.
Is I don't know if you know, but anyway, they used to be popular. So let's go back to this story. I had a young couple come in and they were talking to me about what they wanted to do for their mother. And they thought that she deserved not the very best, but something that she probably earned throughout her life. And so they went through, everything was basic. And then they got to the caskets, and they had 2 choices of caskets that they could go with. One was the more expensive one. And I think that the casket that they chose was I want to call it a primrose. And so a primrose casket, if they could find money that mom put aside somewhere in the house. They knew the money was there. They just hadn't been able to find it. Again, a ripple effect or residue of a Depression era child.
Right.
So I just looked at them and said, that's fine. Why don't you make a second choice in case you can't find the money?
Yeah.
So then they went with what we call a 20 gauge. It was a non-sealer. It was attractive, but definitely not what the family wanted.
Okay.
So I had actually talked to the family and said to them, I said, look, let's just hold everything on. I'll go ahead and keep things going in the process and getting funeral plans and stuff like that. But as far as the casket, let's just wait for 4 days. Your service isn't for 6 days. Let's wait 4 days and see if you can come up with anything. If you do, please let me know.
Mm-hmm.
So day after day after day went. 3 days had already transpired. 4 came along, and I hadn't heard from the family. So I called the family and I said, hey, Frank here, don't mean to impose on you, but can you tell me where you're at with regards to possibly finding the additional monies that you think are lost somewhere in the house? And the son said, hey, I think if it's possible, we're going to push the service back for another 4 more days. And I said, yeah, that's all right. That's fine. And he said, I'm sure that we'll find something within that time frame. In the interim of that time frame, program information had been submitted. They'd come in and chosen some additional items for flowers and different arrangements. They were leaving on one particular day, and I said, oh, please don't forget the clothing.
As we've talked about before. Please.
And so they said, oh, and this is the reaction. Oh, I can't believe we forgot the clothing. So yeah, we don't want mom in no sheet. So the next day they bring in the clothing, and I talked to them every time they would come in and asking them specifics. Well, have you been able to find or locate that money? And the son said to me, said, you know what? We know that it's a substantial amount, but we haven't been able to find it. So after 6 days of looking, he finally looks at me and he says, why don't you go ahead and just put her in the less expensive casket? Mm-hmm. So, the family was looking at the casket that they wanted to put mom in, and the one they chose was a difference of about $4,000. So, So we went from a $7,500, I'm thinking roughly about a $7,500 funeral, which was expensive back then.
Right.
And dropped it down to about a $3,500 funeral.
Expensive then?
It's expensive.
What are you talking about? It's expensive now.
Yeah, but the place I was working at was a little on the expensive side.
It was schwanky?
Yeah, swanky. And so... well, there's a tangent we got. So I said, okay, that's fine. So I ordered the more economical casket. And so she was embalmed. She was in the cooler. So we brought her out of the cooler and we started getting her prepped for the service in 2 days. The next day was supposed to be the viewing. And so this is, sorry, little ears, if you're going to hear this, but what happens to a woman when she lies down? What happens to her breasts?
Oh, and then
off to the side, don't they?
Yeah.
Well, in our conversation,
especially an older woman.
So in our conversation, she was very proud of her breasts. So she wanted to make sure that.
Wait. The deceased?
Yes, the deceased was very proud of her breasts. And so the children wanted.
Naturally, that comes up in conversation.
It does.
Oh.
It does, more than you know.
Okay.
So the son looks at me and he goes, hey, Mom, what kind of happens to her breasts? And I said, well, when you lay down, the breast will fall to the side, especially at your mom's age. She said, well, she loved to have her breasts perky.
Pushed up?
Yeah, pushed up. Thank you. And so he said, is there any way of doing that? And I looked at him, kind of rolled my eyes, we're looking away just a little bit because I didn't want him to see me roll my eyes. But I did look back at him and I said, yes, there are ways of doing that. And he goes, would you mind doing it? She would be very grateful. And I said, okay. I won't go into the details on how that occurs and what happens there, but it does and can happen. And so I started dressing her, and I remembered that conversation, and I looked at her, and I thought, man, Mom, why do you want your breast?
Why does that matter?
Yeah, what does that matter? I mean, seriously. And so I grabbed the bra, and because of her age, and I'm sorry, family, if you're listening to this and wanting to know what we exactly did, but I just packed the bra with cotton. And I didn't try and reposition her breasts at all. I just packed the bra with cotton, and then
don't share that part.
This is the part that I didn't really want to share, but because they were supposed to be perky, I sharpened a pencil, cut it off about.
Oh my gosh, are you serious?
The sharpened, and I put the pencil up under the bra, so it looked perky.
Oh my gosh.
Well, I finished dressing.
Trade secrets. Take note, ladies.
Trade secrets. So I went on in and I finished dressing her, but something just didn't look right. And so I dressed her and I put the blouse on her, and it just wasn't, the bra wasn't fitting right. Something was wrong. So I reached back down and I opened the blouse, and I reached and I grabbed the bra, and I started fooling with the bra, and I kept on the under wire of the bra.
Mm-hmm.
There was no wire, but there was something there, but I couldn't figure out what it was. And so I pulled the bra completely off, thinking this can't be the right bra.
This bra is just wrong. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this was wrong. This wasn't designed for her. This wasn't her size. And so I just thought this is the wrong bra. And so I looked at it, and if you take the lower portion of a bra and just bend it, you can tell if it's got a metal frame in it or a metal shaper in it.
Right.
Form. And there was no friction at all on that band.
Oh, so there definitely wasn't.
No.
Was it like elastic? Was it tight?
It wasn't tight either. It was in sections. And so exactly. And so I thought to myself, well, maybe this is just not the right one. And so I set it aside for a second, finished dressing her. And then when I got ready to go back to the bra, kind of decide what I was going to do, I looked at that again, and I just kind of did a little finger rubbing back and forth on the base of that bra where that
where the wire usually is.
Yeah, and the fabric started to separate. And so I just thought, oh, well, this is probably an older bra. And so I just opened it up a little bit more, and oh my gosh, I reached in there.
There's a fat wad of cash.
Pulled out a circular wad of money, and the money 10 $100 bills.
What? 10 $100 bills?
$1,000 in that one little roll. And I kept going and going and going and going all the way around the bra, both top and bottom. By the time I was finished, there was how much money, Holly? $35,000. $35,000
in one bra?
One bra. And so I hurried and called the family.
Oh my gosh.
So I hurried and called the family, and I said, hey, this is Frank from the funeral home. I think I found your mom's money.
So we're upgrading the casket.
We did upgrade the casket. And he looks at me and goes, where did you find the money? And I said to him, it's in your mom's bra. And he goes, you've got to be kidding me. And so he yells to his wife, who is, I guess, in the same room, said, hey, honey, check my mom's bras. For what? What am I checking for? Money. Checking the seams on the upper and the lower seams of her bras. And so, Holly, they did that. They went on ahead and they ordered the more expensive casket. Everyone was smiles during the service.
Oh, I'm sure.
And he asked if I could go ahead and just pay for the funeral off of what I had found in the bra.
Yeah.
And then give them the balance. And I said, of course. And so we went on ahead and had the services. And in the services, they had actually talked about how she had lost total trust in the government, in the banking system, and that she felt that she had to be self-reliant. And so by the time the services were over and the burial had taken place, we just kind of nonchalantly talked. the son and I.
Yeah.
And he goes, did you check all of the hems in her clothing? And I said, yes. And he said, the only stuff you found was in the bra. I said, yes. And he goes, oh, okay, good. And I said, did you find any additional monies at the house? He said, we did. And I said, so.
How much? Oh my gosh.
You are just sitting there at the $250,000, Holly.
$250,000? $250,000?
$250,000 is what they had found so far.
Were they all in bras?
In her clothing. It was all sewn in her clothing. And they never even would have thought to look in her clothing.
Yeah, of course not. Oh my gosh. Can you imagine if they donated her clothes or something?
Oh, see? That's exactly right. Remember from another podcast where we talked about how being individuals that once someone passes away, the first thing they want to do is get rid of their loved one's clothing?
Yeah.
Yeah, donate it. And you've heard of stories where people all of a sudden find wads of cash in the pockets of donated clothing.
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh.
And so I'm just thinking, I wonder if that was a Depression era person.
I'm sure.
I don't know. But anyway, so if you're a coffiner, take your time. Take your time. Necessary to go ahead and hide the money somewhere else, but please make sure someone knows where the money's at.
Yeah.
So, anyway, but she was a seamstress. She made all of her own clothes, and she just went on ahead and weaved in money into her.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and they didn't even for the life of them think about even looking in the clothing.
Why would you?
Exactly. Why would you?
Oh
and so, like I said, my mom liked to do things, well, occasionally under the mattress, she had a little shoe box that she would hide things in. But man, I would never in my life consider clothing.
No.
And money being sewn in there. And it all turned out with the point of a pencil.
Thank goodness they requested Perky. Because if they hadn't.
You're right.
Yeah.
And so if they hadn't, and I looked at it and I thought something has to be done differently because that just doesn't look good. Something doesn't look right.
Something looks off.
Yeah. And so when that happened, the family was very happy. I got a nice little tip. They tipped me $500.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, that's the most tip
but
ever.
To be fair, if you were not an honest person,
oh yeah,
how easy would it have been to say, well, I'm getting a $35,000 tip?
That's correct. And I just thought to myself, well, this family, they probably needed it more than, well, you're right. It's probably good that I was the one doing the dressing. Because even with people sitting around me, helping me do the adjustments. Oh my gosh, or what are you going to do with that? And turning it back to the family. What are you going to do with it?
Yeah, of course. It's not finders keepers.
That's exactly right. And I knew because I'd met with the family that they were seriously looking.
Mm-hmm.
And in my mind, I thought, well, this is all that they were looking for was the $35,000.
I know. I mean, that's a huge sum right there.
They never gave me a figure when we were initially talking. They just said there was a substantial amount of money that was supposedly hidden somewhere in the house.
Yeah.
And so, man, I look at people's clothing now, and I just think, I wonder where I'd
looking really closely at the hems, at the seams.
For hidden money, I'm just looking at it thinking, I wonder, would that be easy to hide money in? I don't know.
Oh my gosh. Here's my question. How did she wash anything?
Money's washable.
Oh man, I wouldn't trust $35,000. Just
or more,
throw it in the wash.
Or more.
It
truly was laundered money, Holly.
Oh my gosh, that's too good. That's going to be the episode title of this one.
Laundered money.
Laundered money. Oh my gosh.
I always think to myself, even after the service, because I liked it when I did a service today and I was listening to the attributes of the gentleman. I thought, I'll bet we would have gotten along.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just from some of the positive aspects that were actually being said and some of the activities he did with his children. And So I just think, yeah, he was probably a good guy. And the same thing I was thinking for this woman is that she was probably a very good woman, and she probably didn't want to be caught like her mother was caught, and she
Right.
had 4 children to make sure that she had money enough in reserve to, if push comes to shove, to where she could actually have funds enough to take care of them.
And
So,
honestly, too, if there's ever like a fire, if they need to be evacuated quickly, let me put on the money bra, let me put on the money jacket. We're set. Our house burns down. I don't care. I have $250,000 on me right now.
yeah, well, kids may be saying, "Why are you getting dressed so much? We gotta go."
No, you don't understand. Oh my gosh.
Oh man, she's anyway, that was a tremendous experience for me to have experienced and to actually witness the blessing,
Right.
mother's willingness to actually think forward in trying to prepare things for her own children, but also having things close at hand in order to allow her to feel confident that if anything happened, that she could take care of herself.
Yeah.
So, and I guess she was doing that all along anyway. Everything and he made the comment. He said, "It's interesting that my mother would never have shown that she had that much money because." Have you ever had heard the expression beans and rice?
I've eaten beans and rice.
Yeah, but that was their main staple at home. Was beans.
Oh.
That's what they grew up on.
Yeah.
So she had
very cheap meal, but I mean filling.
Yeah.
Stuff.
Yeah, she had to be putting everything else aside.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just feeding them the basics of what would keep them alive.
Right.
As he looked back on it, he just thought to himself that, there was probably some wisdom, some hate, some anger that went on with children and their parents because they weren't able to eat what some of their friends were eating.
Oh, really? It was that much that she was saying we're eating the bare minimum.
I don't think she ever voiced that, not according to him.
Yeah.
Just that whenever they mentioned another meal, we all have our own favorite meals, right? And so if you have any opportunity to eat a meal at any one given moment, then your preferred meal is the one you'd want. Probably with the kids where they probably had lunch at school and they were thinking, God, well, I don't know if they probably did. Maybe they didn't. I don't know. I don't remember when school lunches started, but yeah, either way, they had to have a taste of other meals, right?
Right.
And so all of a sudden, beans and rice again. We have a child that every once in a while will just say, soup again.
A child, we can throw them under the bus. They know Scott.
Soup again? Come on.
Really? Although, to be fair, soup in Arizona is sometimes a struggle.
It is because it's warm.
So hot outside. You don't want to be eating something hot.
No. So anyway, what are your thoughts on that one, Holly?
I think that is just insane. Oh my gosh. I mean, I also think it's very interesting how you can tell so much about a person going through their belongings after they passed and like having to sort through their business and the way that they did things. I mean, you can just finding the money there instead of in a bank, you know so much about her already.
Yeah.
And so I think that that's very interesting. And I know we've had a couple of experiences of like cleaning out the houses of people who have passed away.
Sure.
That sometimes it's eye-opening of, oh, wow, they thought this way, or they had a collection of something. And, it's just really interesting.
Yep. It's interesting what people hang on to.
Yeah, it is. It is. Yeah.
Whether of any value or not, they're still hanging on. Let's hang on.
Yep.
What are you throwing out?
People need it.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, I don't know if they found anything more. This is all they found at the time of the funeral.
Oh my gosh. After finding that, I'd be so scared to throw anything away.
Well, I'll tell you, they knew which clothing they had already gone through because they cut everything.
Yeah, they'd rip it apart.
So nothing would have been donatable anyway.
No. Oh, you really liked that jacket of Mom's? What a shame.
It's a puffy jacket, so we are going to look.
We will be tearing it open.
It's like a teddy bear.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
What if there was money in stuffed animals? What?
Yeah.
I can only imagine that they probably started to go through everything, checking everything before it was. Did you check it really good?
Yeah, I would have. Oh my gosh. $35,000 in one bra. When could one pair of pants or one chair hold?
Yeah. Well, either way you look at it, and there's like a $63,000 windfall for each of the children.
Wow.
All in cash. So I don't know if they would report it. Sorry, IRS. But I don't know if they would reported it or not. But either way, it still looks at it. Yeah. It's very interesting that kind of money can be actually hidden around.
Yeah,
and
seriously.
They'll do it today. I'm sure they do.
I know they do. And you even hear stories of people like redoing houses and you find things in the walls.
Yes.
Of when they built the house. And that's definitely not as accessible, but it's a sturdy place to put it.
Or someone just totally forgot.
Yeah. I would be surprised.
Why would you? Yeah. Anyway, that's today's story, Holly.
Oh my gosh. Please don't do that. I don't want to cut open clothes.
It's never entered my mind other than
it's never there. Yeah, I guess that's oh man, that's just a good conversation to have with someone, because imagine if they never found any of it.
Mm-hmm. And true.
They really would have just given away thousands of dollars.
They brought in a bra that was not lined with the money.
Exactly. They never would have found it.
No.
You just made those people rich.
That's why I think I got the $500 tip.
I'm sure. This is chump change at this point.
Yeah. So
we found this in a pocket. It wasn't even sewn in here.
Yeah. Oh wow. And Frankie we found gold bars, and then no, I can't.
Gold bars in the soles of the shoes.
No wonder she dragged her feet.
No wonder she didn't walk.
Oh wow.
Oh geez.
So anyway, that's it. I hope people find that a little entertaining. But I think parents or grandparents that may have gone through the Depression, and just think about their lifestyle and what they were doing.
Yeah, what they had to do.
Yeah,
because of what happened to them. Exactly
right. Yes. And so now you're probably thinking, darn it, we shouldn't have gotten rid of our clothing.
Yeah.
What if there was something in the clothing?
Oh my gosh. Hopefully this doesn't spur all of the Kaufners to go to DI or Goodwill and search all the seams, but
not that there's anything
wrong with that. But if you find something, we'd appreciate a donation.
Know what happened, and I'll look the other way as my fingers are rubbing each other.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. No,
just $500 would be nice.
Looking back now, I'm thinking I got ripped off.
Yeah. Hey, I know you found more than this. Oh my gosh. Well, that makes me think, if any of our Kaufners have funny stories like this, where like funny locations where you're finding things, please let us know, because that would be great.
It would be fun to read about.
So send us an email at letsbefrank@coffintalking.com. And we will see you next week.
Thanks, Kaufners.